Welcome, my name is Tishar and this is StarMade. In our previous episode, when we worked on our universal trading ship, we created this deck here with all the residential units for the crew, and it worked out quite well. But that's not what we're going to work on today, because today I want to concentrate on the decks below it, because these are the two last decks that are still empty within the ship. Well, mostly empty. There's still a bit of construction here at the end of the ship. So we've got the library here, and then some hallways, and some part of the upper part of this technical room. But most of it is empty. But the part I want to mostly concentrate on is this part between the garden over here and the elevator, front elevator over here. And I always designated this particular part of the ship as my commercial district. Also, what I want to do is incorporate more of the two layers together, so that they use elevation in some parts of the structure I'm going to build here. So there will be some overlap. So that's why I'm going to section off each part of this ship for these layers to build on. So first this commercial district type thing that I want to get going here. Then we got this front part that I can do something with, and then the part behind the garden next to the library that I need to fill up with different things. I've got some general ideas, but not concrete plans yet. But for this area, I want to start with what I already mapped out many weeks ago, a sort of restaurant ID for the ship. So it's also where the crew can eat, but also visitors of the ship can also come here and eat if they want. And then you get a nice view from this restaurant to the over the garden here in the middle of the ship. Something similar like the library was built on the other side of the garden. So the first thing I did is set up a general layout of the space I wanted. It's a bit bigger than the square I mapped out at first. It's a bit longer, but it is the same width as I had mapped out before. So what I did is create two levels within this space, and you can already see that I put down a lot of tables and chairs. And I've got this top level over here that you can access through this stair. Then you can get all the way around to the area with the window overlooking the trees. And then on the ground level, we've got a similar setup with the window at the end, and then wrapping around all the way to that end. And there's a whole lot of space in the middle for perhaps more tables and chairs. I'm not sure how I'm going to lay it out exactly. While the top floor is basically done because there's not a lot of room to move tables there, but the bottom floor has a lot more opportunity for that. So now that I know what the internal layout is going to be of this space, I can put off the walls, choose a nice wallpaper color, and then more or less complete this area. I decided to go for a nice green color for the walls. Have a bit of an accent lighter color in the walls here and there to break it up. Didn't do that here, so you can quite see a big difference if you don't do it. I'm not exactly sure about the pillars in this setup. It still feels a bit too cold, too industrial with all the gray in here. So I'm probably going to switch that out for either actual wood or perhaps brown hull. I'm not sure yet. But I'll try some different options to see what I like most. But yeah, with the walls up, it looks a lot cozier already, and of course the lamps on the tables help with that as well, with the yellow orange light. So yeah, I'm quite liking how this is turning out. I just need to fine tune additional details a bit more. Quite a big change. Like I said, I swapped out the pillars. In this case, I used the wood texture, and I swapped around the stairs. So it was located here first, but I swapped it to this side, mainly because I want the entrance door to this area over here in this wall, so it's nicely centered with the elevator over there. So yeah, this stair was in the way for that, so I moved it to that area. And yeah, I quite like this feeling a bit more. Also put in the roof, but there's not a lot of detail going on here yet. Just the border and then gray, dark gray hole as the ceiling. But I'll add some details later on. But yeah, I like where this is going. It feels a bit more structured now. So yeah, I can add some more details, and then I can think of the surrounding areas, because this was one of the main bigger areas within this part of the ship to fill out this space. So I need to figure out how I'm going to connect the elevator, so how you can go to this particular restaurant, and what kind of other areas needs to surround this. I did this sort of chandelier design here in the restaurant, but yeah, it didn't really turn out the way I thought it would. So this is probably something I'm going to remove, but I'll leave it up for now and concentrate on the areas outside of this restaurant first, because I started laying out some shapes here to see if I could connect this space in some way to the elevators over there. But yeah, this layout is a very big open space, and I thought, okay, I could perhaps do something like a stair to the second floor, and then at the edge of this floor I could have a walkway, and then some shops on either side or something like that. But this is a very big wasted space. Okay, there's a lot of other big spaces here that are wasted spaces, but I mean, it doesn't really make a lot of common sense to have a space like this, central plaza like this, within this area. It is too big for this area, I think. So I'm thinking of something else. I've got a couple of these, but I think I want a sort of shopping street, sort of main shopping street, main street, something like that, that leads from the elevator towards the restaurant. So this is my first concept test of this shopping street ID. It will not be a very large shopping street, but it will have two levels. So we've got these walkways here on the second level that you can use to access the buildings as well. So I made these different colors facades of buildings, and this blue one is my first test. So you got this door here in the middle that you can enter to exit or enter this particular shop. Then up top we can also have an access for a different shop. So you can have two different shops in the same building, so to speak. So if you have two buildings on each side of the street, so I need to create two more on this side, we could have a total of 8 shops within this ship. I think that's more than enough for a small commercial district. So then when you walk in this street, you can shop around, and then at the end of the street itself, you have the access to the dining area over here. That would be quite nice, I think. And I did take into account that you have different access points to this street. So we have some sort of hallway here and on the other end as well. And then on this end, the same thing, that you can exit this area easily enough. Because I'm expecting a lot of traffic to flow through here to this area. It's slowly taking shape. I added different color facades on the left side of the street as well. Added some lights to see how that works out, and then some plants here in the middle to break up the seat itself a bit. And then I started adding these green extensions here that mesh nicely with the facade for the dining area. and started cutting out here the entrance for this particular dining area. Yeah, I think this lines up quite nicely. That's one of the reasons I moved these stairs. Like I said in the beginning of the episode, it lines up a bit better. So then I've got a whole lot of area here free to do something like a bar, I'm not sure, or perhaps more tables. So yeah, this is turning out exactly like I envisioned it's going to be. This area is starting to come to life. I added some neon lights to the facades, some sort of advertisement. Well, it's just force fields, of course, but it looks like advertisements this way. And it looked like there's different types of shops already, although there's no interior yet, of course. I did start figuring out how big I wanted the shops to be, and then figuring out how I want the people to navigate this area. So there's probably going to be some sort of hallway surrounding this area that you can walk around it, and then of course enter the rest of the ship. And I also did some designing for this entry for the dining area. So it says double doors with a force field in the middle to give it a bit of color. And then you can enter this area from here. It's the same on this end. And I quite like the force field stripes here in the top window as well. Gives it a nice bit of detail, some sort of yeah, it could be the logo of the particular restaurant that's here. But yeah, I think this is quite the look I'm after. On this second level, I also did a bit more free designing, so have some door areas here, so you can enter these shops as well. So these are, at least they look like smaller shops, but they're actually not. They're basically the same size as the shops below, but because the facade is higher here, they look bigger here on the lower level. So on the second level, we will have a couple of more obscure shops. I think they probably will have less traffic than the ones on the ground floor here, but we'll see what we can think of. I did a couple of things. I added the interior walls for the shops, so I now know how big the space is that I have to work with for these particular shops that are here. And I started working on the actual access tunnels or access hallways to this area. So I designed this hallway similar in the way that the hallways below this deck are. For example, in here, this is where the medical area is located. As you can see here, these are basically the same, except that I don't have the orange stripe here in the middle of this. So this is a slightly tweaked design of that. I do need to break up the monotone a bit more because there's a lot of blue light in here, and that's not really the variation I'm after. And I tried to work out how this hallway pattern is going to play out. For example, in here it lines up quite nicely with this entrance to the shopping area and the dining area, of course. And then I decided to go this way and then make a left turn all the way to the end to a bigger area where these side elevators are located. So this way I can quite nicely line it up with this particular, well, there's nothing here of course, but this particular area I can build anything. And then I've got this space left over between the hallway and the dining area. And I've got a small door over here, and this door will lead to, I think, the kitchen. At least an area for the people that work in the restaurant. And then I decided to add a door on this end as well. So you have not only the front door to enter the restaurant, but also a side door. And I will probably connect that to this hallway on this end. But then I have to decide what I want to do with the space, well, that is left over. But I will think of something, because there will be a slight difference between which side of the ship you're on, what type of spaces are available there. the same as with the shopping street, that there are different shops on each side of the street. Would be a bit of a waste if I just mirrored everything. So yeah, that's the way I want to have it a bit more asymmetrical. So I can basically copy this hallway design to the top floor as well, to this section. See if I can follow the same pattern or if I need to tweak it a bit. But yeah, I can basically use it the same way. I decided to have some fun with the actual shops on the first floor of the shopping district. So on this end we've got this lovely little flower shop where you can buy all the flowers you need for your crew quarters. And then we've got this this area for the people that sell it here. And in this area you can buy all kinds of colors of paints and things like that. So that is what you can get here. And in the blue building, we've got this nice little tech shop. There's basically nothing here. It's yeah, the same as an Apple shop. It's just a whole lot of white tables with the latest tech on top of it. So yeah, the lying force field's very high tech. And the last building is a mysterious shop that sells all kinds of mysterious crystals and other rocks and bits. Yeah, I need to add some more detail in here, I think, but yeah, the idea behind it is clear. I think there's different types of shops in each building. So that worked out quite nicely, I think. I need to do that for the second level as well, but I don't have a exact idea what I want to do here yet. I have to think of some more shop ideas, because there's not a lot of items you can use within StarMade to decorate a shop with that, well, basically depicts what it's selling. But we'll be creative with that. I also need to figure out what I want to do with this area, for example, and the areas up top to fill out the rest of the space that I have left over between the shopping area and the hull of the ship, basically. I have some ideas, so let me try some layouts and we'll get back to you. On the second level of the shopping district, I also want these hallways, the same as I have on the first level of the shopping district, but we had this big space here, and I thought, okay, what can I do with this? Because I have a lot of space below this deck as well, more than I have normally, but not enough for a different level. So I thought, okay, I might add a swimming pool, because you do have to have some entertainment sections within this commercial district as well, I think. So this will be a small swimming pool, or small, it's deep enough. So I tried to create something that has a bit of a slope within the swimming pool itself. So you have some 1.5 block deep water and then fairly deep water on this end. That I could do because I had the space below it. And below this, I've got this space left over. I can probably add a arcade or something like that, or a room with game simulators or something like that in here. So that's also part of the commercial district. So you've got some exercise areas, some game areas, some shopping areas, things like that. And I need to think of something else on to add on this end, because that space is still empty, but I did block it out. It's enough space to add different things to it, so that will work itself out, I think. Like I said before, I am going to copy the whole design to this floor as well, but then tweak it a bit because it needs to fit the different areas that connect to the hallway. I also need to add that for this end, and I'm probably going to use the same layout I did it on the first floor. But then I have the space on this end left over that I can build something, and that I didn't have on the first floor. What I'm thinking is adding more crew quarters on this end. Just sprinkled throughout these two decks that I have left over on the ship, because the district above me, this one, where I had the also the school, of course, all the other crew quarters, is not enough to house all the crew that this ship could support. So I need more crew quarters, but I didn't want to dedicate a whole area to crew quarters again. I already did that on the floor above me. So I think it's a nice filler for some areas to sprinkle around here within this section of the ship to have some crew quarters here. So at least on this end, I can add a couple. I'm not sure if I'm going to do that on this end as well, because I might want to use that for the kitchen area as well, with some additional storage for the kitchen or other areas that the crew or the staff can use for this dining area. But I'll work on that later. So I did a copy paste job of the hallways. So now the hallways of the first floor are now on the top floor as well. Marked out where I want the door probably to go for the swimming area. And then the hallway goes all the way here. This is the entrance to the shopping district again. Then makes a turn here. Then we have some doors to some additional crew areas with double beds. This one is a single bed, so this is an office or something like that. These are crew quarters that share a bunk bed, and then they have a bathroom here. And then that's mirrored on this end with similar setup, but the bathroom is on this end. So they fit quite nicely. So that's for 5 additional crew that I can house here. That adds up quite nicely because it's mirrored on the other side. So that's already 10 additional crew that I can add to the ship. Also marked out this area for this level. But like I said, I'm not sure exactly what I'm going to do here. Of course, for this area, it's going to be the kitchen, but I'm not sure about the top one. But for now, I think I built enough in this area. I'm running out of time for this episode. There's still a whole lot of things to do with detailing and mapping out different areas, but I'm quite happy with how this turned out. It's very lively and very much the style I want to go for. And speaking of this particular style, as you might have noticed with all my interior building, this is not a warship. This is really a trading and living ship that people can live on and bring their families with. So it's not something you have to take into combat. It does have weapons because you're stupid to not arm your ship, but it's not a warship. And that's one of the questions I want you guys to answer for me. Do I need to keep this big turret at the front, or do I just remove it like I did over here? Because the original small design of the ship didn't have this turret at the front either, and that was the shape I was going for. And I thought, okay, I could add a big turret over there to defend my ship, but I was thinking, do I really need to? This is a trade guild ship, not meant for combat, so it has some defensive weapons, but it doesn't need a ton of them. So let me know what you think about that, and I'll see you next time.